Like my doctor was like, I'm surprised that you're alive.
A friend of mine said he would sign it all over if I just had the love for my family, my kids.
The trees grow deeper roots, they grow stronger, so you need the wind. The more you accept yourself, expands your ability to love others.
Welcome to the Alex Perry on Fire podcast. And today's guest, I met through an event, but what I think is really interesting is so many times we talk about how social media might be negative. And in this case, it turned out to be an extremely positive event because I noticed today's guest posting basically videos about her journey, and it intrigued me to want to learn more. I wanted to know why she felt so comfortable being vulnerable in that social setting, and also what I could learn from what she was going through. So welcome, Ashlyn Colette, to the Alex Perry on Fire podcast.
Woo! Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. And I think we both agree there are no accidents and things happen for a reason and divine timing. And that's why we're together across from each other today. And if you wouldn't mind, maybe share with the audience a little bit about maybe what you were putting out to the world and what that in return gave to you.
So I just post like little blurbs or like thought prompts or something that I currently need to hear that I'm like, oh, well, maybe other people need to hear this too. Off the top of my mind, I can't think of any examples, but something will just come to me and it'll be a lesson that I'm learning in life of, you can't control this. Most of them have to do with control. And so I would just do like little nature videos or something just talking about what I'm going through and hoping that it relates to other people. And I kind of just do it for fun. I never did it with like an intention of, beyond like, I hope that this helps someone because it's helping me. But I've gotten a lot of good feedback and people being like, oh, this is what I needed to hear today. Like, oh, I'm going through the same thing. And it was really encouraging because I feel like I'm just like shouting into the void. And I'm like, can anyone else hear me? Like, are you seeing me or are you going through this too? And then, it was interesting that me doing that, you saw it and now we're creating something out of that. And so I'm like, okay, so, all of this has purpose and intention and just, it's kind of magical how it all unfolded.
Yeah. And I remember the video that caught my attention was you were in a car and you were like, does anyone else can cry on the drop of a hat? Like yeah. All of a sudden can just start crying. And it resonated with me because I never cried. And then all of a sudden, like I'd hear a song or someone would say something or I'd watch a video, like an emotional video of someone doing something. And the emotions would just overcome me. And what I've learned from talking to different therapists or even other people is like, you want that emotion to come out. Like, yeah. Don't suppress that emotion. I remember going back like a couple years when I would, when Elliot was going through some stuff and things would hit me and I would just like a song. I remember a song and I would let that emotion come out. And I liked it. I actually liked it. I remember like I used to love crying in like movies because I'd be like, I know I can cry. Yeah. I know I can cry. But that actually resonated with me. And I was like, oh, here's someone who's going through something and she's putting out there and I wanted to learn more. And I say it for the audience because I think it's a great tool to use where if you see someone who's kind of going through something you're going through or you can resonate with, or you just want to learn more is like, it takes vulnerability on one side to put yourself out there like you did. And then vulnerability on the other person's side to say, let's, can I learn more in a respectful manner? So the reason how I reached out was just like, hey, would you be up for a coffee or walk on the trail or something that wasn't intrusive or just a phone call? Actually, it was just a phone call to start.
We started with a phone call.
It was like, can we just have a call? I just want to know what's going on. And you shared, would you mind kind of sharing with the audience a little bit more about your journey and what you led you to where you are right now, and kind of where you see yourself going?
Cool. I feel like my journey has been like it's been going on for 10 years. Like I've been 10 years of integrating this process. Um and
And when you say this process, what would you mean by this process?
this process of being human, of allowing myself to be human, of not playing the game of I'm perfect, I have everything figured out, I know what I'm doing. Because I think that's a lie. I don't think anyone knows what they're doing. I think they convince themselves that they know what they're doing. But I think for me, I like when the universe wants you to see something, it will smack you over and over again until it's like, are you seeing what I want you to see? And it will continue to push you down until you break. And for me, I had like 5 big life events all happen at the same time where I was like, I can't do this. I'm I don't know what's happening. My life is falling apart. I feel extremely uncomfortable. And it was I was the victim of it. I was the victim of feeling like everything is falling apart and of the situations that were happening. And I have to take a moment to breathe because I'm getting all amplified.
For sure. Take as much time as you need.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is like these conversations aren't easy. Like it's hard to talk about things that have happened in our past that made us struggle. But then if you keep going, like it always gets better. It always turns around or you gain strength from being knocked down. Like my favorite analogy, and this is real, there's like this scientific dome where they're planting trees and the trees would grow to a certain height and then they'd fall over. And they were like, what's up with these trees? And so they realized that in the dome that there is no wind. And so wind builds resilience for the trees. Like the trees grow deeper roots, they grow stronger, they grow thicker. And so you need the wind. You need to build the resilience so that you can be strong and stand tall. So I feel like even being knocked down, it's like, well, I was just building resilience. And I can say that now, but like in the moment, I wanted to be nothing. I did not want to be here. I was like, I can't do this. And now I'm like, oh, I can get through anything. Like there is no knocking me down. Like I will continue because I've been through the hardest things. Hopefully, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I just tell like that's another thing that I post. I'm like, just keep going. Like if you're in a hard moment, like just keep going because like it's inevitable. It will get better. There's no other option.
Yeah, and I lean on my, it's I mean, again, I say it all the time, we're mirrors for each other. So sitting
Yeah.
across from you, something maybe I need to hear, right? And I talk to my brother, Elliot, and I'm like, when I'm going through something, I'm like, does this get better? Like I feel like I'm in the middle ground. Does it get better? And you you need to hear that from people. Like, yes, it gets better. Yes, you make it through on the other side.
Yeah.
Um, but if you feel comfortable going back 10 years, because you kind of said that's where it began, and 5 life events, I don't know what you feel comfortable sharing or not, but can you kind of go back to the beginning of that and share, you know, if was there a catalyst, a first event, or
Yes. So the first event was oh, my nervous system is all like but I need to talk about these things because it's my story and it's my medicine.
Well, were you living
Um
a certain way going into the first event that could lead you into it?
Do what?
Were you living like a certain way? Because you had mentioned that um, basically you would recognize.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was, like basically, I was in a relationship that was not doing me any favors. I was 18 and started college, trying to do, like, the normal things, had no idea what I was going to college for. I felt extremely just, like, uncertain. 'Cause I mean, 18, that's a really hard age. And you're like, "Oh, you're an adult now." No. Um, and so the first real big thing was I was in a car accident that kinda altered my life forever. A guy ran a red light and T-boned me, and, I was in the hospital for a week and broke my pelvis in 9 places and had to have hip surgeries, and I'm not able to move in a way that I want to, but that was, like, just the beginning of it, of, "Oh, I have to change my entire way of living," because, I mean, I couldn't, like, go to the bathroom by myself, I couldn't shower by myself, I couldn't do anything. I was in my bed for months, um, and that actually led me to breaking up with my boyfriend because he was, like, never around. He also cheated on me a lot, and I was still with him, and looking back, I'm like, "Oh, that was the universe being like, 'You need to see this person and see how terrible this person is.'" Granted, 18, like, what else am I supposed to know? Sorry.
You're
My heart is like, because it's so strange to go back, and I only go back, like, when I'm in therapy. So, like, "Oh, but this is where, like, the practice comes in."
Don't forget the techniques that get you out of a bad place, because you don't want to have to go to a bad place to then start using the techniques. So
Right.
just keep using them and using them and using them. And yeah, triggers are real, right?
Oh, I have, like, severe, like, I have panic disorder. So there are times where I'm at dinner and I'm like, "Oh, I need to get up." And, like, I used to not verbalize it, and it would spiral, and it would get worse. And I would feel trapped in my own head, and it would just get dark, and I was like, "I can't live like this." So now I just verbalize it. I'm like, whoever I'm around, I'm like, "Oh, I just have to get up for a minute." I did it with your brother at lunch because it was, like, feeling overwhelming, and I was like, "I just need to walk outside for a second." And it's a way of me to take care of myself and baby myself and be like, "I'm okay. It's okay. You're allowed to feel this way."
Love that. I think that's, yeah, telling yourself you're okay to feel that way is really good. I was at a lunch on Sunday, and normally I'm like, well, I don't want to say normally because it's like, that's all relative, but I might be extremely talkative and outgoing. And I told the guys, I was like, look, I'm going to go to lunch, guys, but I'm not feeling great today.
That's
And I just
huge.
said that to them, and it's like, they actually were going back and forth and having their fun and enjoying it. And I was just like, look, I'm here,
Yeah,
but I'm not going to put on a show.
which is human, right? Like, we can't put on the mask all the time. The mask keeps us small. The mask tells us, "Oh, no one will understand me, and if I'm not perfect, I'm not good enough." But then once you take off the mask, it's really hard to put it back on because 'cause you're like, "I don't wanna be uncomfortable anymore. I don't wanna feel unsafe anymore. I just have to speak up for myself and know that even if someone else doesn't understand, I understand myself." And there's great power in that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to get there, but yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it takes being vulnerable and it takes being confident. Right? And it takes what you just said, which is, the part that we're trying to get everyone to see on this show is that we're human. We are all human. And when we kind of dehumanize ourselves, and it's actually when things get worse.
Mhm.
And we've seen that with, it's just natural. It's with anybody. It's just, no one's immune to that.
No.
Um, do you feel comfortable going back to kind of where you left off, which was,
Yes.
breakup, car accident,
Mhm.
then
Um, and then, I most of these things, like, I don't talk about because I don't wanna put the burden on someone else of, like, carrying my story. So, um, I also don't know how to, like, speak on it without being just, like, totally, like, blunt and honest, and then that's, like, really heavy for people. So, another part was my mom's boyfriend, who had lived with us for 10 years, was just basically not a good person, treated me very poorly, and that happened, like, right after my car accident, and so and then my mom trusted him over me, so I had to move out. So, my living space was no longer safe. I had to move in with my friend's mom, and basically from there, I I was also in a lot of pain because, like, pelvis, hip issues. I was in the service industry, so I was working all the time. And I was also going to school, paying for it myself. And I want to clarify, like, all of this sounds like a pity party. I don't like it's just information.
It doesn't sound like a pity party.
Okay.
It sounds like some events that got kind of compounded
Yes.
and the
Oh, yeah.
momentum was going this way instead of this way. So that's what it's
Yes.
coming across as.
Yes. Okay. Good. um so I had to learn because, like, my family just, like, took his side, didn't listen to me. I lost my family. I, was trying to move out of my friend's house and, like, or my friend's mom's house and, like, take care of myself. And my pain was just, like, getting worse and worse because I was working 10, 11-hour shifts. Um, and so I became addicted to alcohol to numb. 'Cause they took me off of pain pills because I was young, and they were like, "We don't want you to be addicted." I'm like, "But I'm in pain. Like, what else am I supposed to do?" So I relied on alcohol, and then I was like, "Oh, actually, this helps me not feel anxious either." And so I became more and more dependent on that, and I didn't have any tools. I didn't know how to take care of myself. I wasn't going to therapy. I didn't know anything that I do now. Oh, I'm so shaky. Um, and it got to the point where I was like, "I wanna be nothing. I can't do this anymore." And so I ended up in a hospital and, um, then a mental hospital, a free one, which those places are really scary and not good. They overprescribed me pills. They like, my doctor was like, "I'm surprised that you're alive." Like, I've been told that so many times in my life to where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I have so many angels around me." Okay, I need to get up and walk again.
Okay.
Need a pause.
No, you're good. No, that's perfect. I like it. It's part. It's actually part. It's part of the realness. I mean, this is real. And
Very real.
you know, sometimes I will converse with Elliot, and what I think the scariest thing is for sometimes for people and why him and I are so engaged in helping others is that we both felt that you can be 30 days away from having to go to a place where you need help and you don't have choices anymore. The free ones are obviously dependent on whether you can afford it or not. And scary places, and the ones where you even can afford it are, he'll tell you that was the fire. Like he said, that you want to talk about fire, that was the fire of fire of fire every single day. And you don't really have a choice when you get there. Maybe you have a choice, but you don't, because the other choice is leaving into a place and going back into society where you don't feel comfortable. And so what's so, it's heavy, but it's so important is that what we want to do is be there for people who don't get to a place where they don't have a choice. It's a fine line between having a choice and not having a choice. And I think a lot of it has to do with community. And do you have people who you can pick up the phone and talk to, or actually go sit with, or introduce a tool that Ashlyn's now talking about, or be able to be in touch with your emotions? And so while this is an extremely heavy episode, what I think is so important is that it hits on what we're trying to grow, Alex Perry on Fire about. The podcast not just being a podcast, but being a place where community can reach out to each other, find tools, have their own voice, because everyone's got their own journey. There's no one that has Ashlyn's journey. There's no one that has my journey. There's no one that has our producer Patrick's journey or Elliot's journey, or any of the guests. And so, although extremely heavy, it's so real because it just starts with one little heavy thing. You could smile about it. It didn't start, for Ashlyn, who's talking about it right now, it didn't start with alcohol. Alcohol was the byproduct of not feeling well. Alcohol was the byproduct of being in pain. Pain came from somewhere else, came from another story. And when people have come on this podcast and people I've talked to, that's usually the case.
Yeah.
It was one bad break. It was, I talk to Elliot about this all the time. It's like, if you've ever played poker, if you lose a bad hand, it can be called being on tilt. And so you can have all these chips and be in the money, right? And play a hand that you thought was really good, and you get sideswiped, car accident, something out of nowhere, a breakup that you didn't see coming, cheating, an illness, what you name it, get fired from your job. I mean, those are big things. Sideswiped. And all of a sudden, everything that you thought made sense doesn't make sense anymore. And you start chasing to get back to the place you were before you got that one thing that sideswiped you. So it's being on tilt. It's like, well, if I just had the chips I had before. And so you start playing totally against your game, totally different than how you used to, totally different than what got you to this comfortable place. It's a free fall. And then all of a sudden you're out of the game.
Yeah.
Because one thing took you off and it created this crazy momentum. And so, what we try and talk about and amongst ourselves is a couple things. One is stay in the game. And what I mean by stay in the game is don't put yourself in that hospital.
Yeah.
Like, don't put yourself in that hospital, because the universe doesn't care. When you go in that hospital, you're the person who still has to get yourself out of that hospital. So we've talked a lot about this scales of 1 to 10, right? And we're like, if you're at a 5, you're not at the hospital. You're living it struggle, right? But you go to a 3 and you're very close. And the thing is, when you're at a 3, you're just going to wish that you got back to that 5. Like, you just want to be at that 5, because in the 5, you can make decisions. You can get to a 7. And at a 7, you're living.
Yeah.
You may not be thriving, but you're living. And I say that because, the 5 to a 3 is a really scary place. It's a super scary place.
Yeah, it's so easy to go to the 1.
Yeah, and the 1 is
It's over.
Yeah. And so, thank you for coming back into the chair. But picking up where you left off was that, you were at a free mental hospital.
It's actually shut down now because it was so terrible.
And
which is absurd.
And maybe if you feel comfortable sharing.
So that's actually when like the light starts. I start seeing the light. Before that, I was like agnostic. I was like, I grew up religious, but whenever I would ask questions, no one could give me answers. So, so I was like very like, whatever, this is all fake. Like, reality is just what's in front of us. But when I was in that hospital, I was around like homeless. My best friend in there was a girl named KC, which I later found out stood for Killer Crip. Um, that like I have so many like that world is so different from anything that I've experienced since. Um, but they all came to me and talked to me. They wouldn't talk to their doctors. They wouldn't talk to the therapist. But I would listen without judgment. I would listen with compassion to their stories. I mean, my roommate was a girl who stabbed her husband. And it's because he was cheating on her. So I was like, okay, well, in your head, that makes sense. We're all just doing what makes sense. Is it right? That's relative. I haven't like visited these memories in a while. So it's so interesting, like what's coming up. Um, so that's when I realized like, oh, I want to be in this environment. I want to help these people. I'm made for this. There was a schizophrenic girl who didn't talk to anyone. And she was like, she talked to me because she felt safe. I understood her. I don't have schizophrenia, but like I could understand what she was telling me. She says that, everyone has their dreams above their head. They just have to reach out and grab it. I'm like, well, that makes sense, you know? Or that, she would talk to people and she would hear their dead relatives next to them. I'm like, okay, well, who's to say that's not true? I don't know. And so through that, after I got out, of course, I immediately wanted to go back to my old habits. I was like, oh, I'm out of there. And actually, I wasn't even supposed to get out. Like, they wanted to keep me in for longer just for the money. But my doctor did an outpatient program there, and he was like, you don't belong here. I was like, I know. That's what I've been telling them. Like, I know that I got myself here, but like, this is not an environment for me. But I needed to see that. I needed to see those people. I needed to meet them. I needed to be the light in there and realize I still have my light. And so once I got out, I wanted to forget all of it. I was like, I don't want to believe this. I wanted to study psychology, but I was like, who am I to say? I'm going through it. I can't run before I even know how to crawl. So I had to go through the process. I had to go to therapy. I had to go to a psychologist. I had to do like trauma work. I had to realize that all my coping skills were not healthy. And that took years. It took years for me to dissolve everything. And I had to, or no, I didn't have to. Like friendships left me, relationships left me. I was getting a closer relationship with my family at this point. And just everything was still spinning out of control, but like in a positive direction. I just couldn't see it. But I knew that I would get through it. I don't know why. I could see the light. I could see the progress. And I would say it was up until like 4 years ago. I mean, actually, yes. It was 4 years ago, December 4th, that I went sober. That finally, I started dating a person who was like, you don't need to be drinking. Like, he cared about me, and I hadn't been cared about in that way. All my friends and all my relationships previously just drank with me. They were trying to escape too. They were trying to get out. We were all in this bubble of harm, and we played into it with each other because it's like, oh, it's normal. But no, we were all hurting. And so with his help and his guidance, I was like, oh, I need to go sober. Yeah. So I did. And that's when my life actually started like getting better and improving. And I started studying psychology. I worked at a gallery, Samuel and Galleries, and I was spending 8 hours by myself in this gallery. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with this time? So I just read so much, so many books on different therapy modalities, different brain functions, human behavior. I had to drop out of college because I couldn't pay for it myself. But I was finally like, okay, now I know what I want to do. Like, I want to go back to college. I want to get this degree. I want to help people. And I just kept going and then learning about the holistic side, the spiritual side, like everything. And then it's like now I'm at the point where my life feels so magical because I can think about something and it'll happen. Like us connecting feels so cosmic. I'm like, this is changing my life. Like, this is a new chapter that I'm so excited to be a part of. And it shows that the work that I've done, it's for this purpose. And I have a hard time being like, oh, I'm proud of myself. But like, I am proud of where I am now because I had to go through the trudges to get here. And I think I had to go through it so that I could understand other people's darkness. So I could see their darkness and hold space for it and be like, it's not too much. It's okay. Like, you will get through it. Because I know that people have it worse. Like, I know that my story is not the worst story ever. But I know what it's like to be at the lowest of my story. And that if you have hope, hope is the cornerstone of resilience. That's my favorite phrase. Hope is the cornerstone of resilience. Because if you have hope, you can get through it and you can go, and everything else is just built off of that.
Yeah, made me emotional. I can feel it on you. And how real it is. There's a lot there. One thing that really caught my attention, you just said, which was the group you were around was kind of holding you in that space. I think so many times that happens with people and they don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's people, it can be families. I had, my little brother on the Big Brother, Big Brother program. And he had to leave his house because his mom didn't like how much he was succeeding in the family and what that showed everybody. I mean, it's crazy to hear, and it might have been super subconscious for the mother as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to attack the mom.
Right.
But he felt it, right? Like, he felt that. And I think you can see in families or friend groups, right? And it's like, no, we're all doing the same thing. That's what we do. That's the life we live.
It's normal.
Yeah, this is, and it doesn't have to be, it can mean anything. It can be just in chasing money or status or material things. It could be in the way you treat significant others, like boyfriends and girlfriends. You see it, because it normalizes it, right? You're like, no, this is how we treat each other, right? And it's like, and it's tough because without space, it's hard to see. You said that the momentum kind of shifted when you got out and you saw some light. But did you have community? Did you have support? You said your family had kind of, at that point.
So I started building a relationship with my mom and grandma again. And it was really once I started working at the gallery and stopped working in the service industry. No hate on the service industry, but that industry is so dark and it works you, and it's such a hard space to be in. So once I was around people who saw the good in life and wanted to be better, that momentum is incredible. Like JD Miller, the owner of the gallery, he speaks on being a reflection of the universe and the expansiveness of love. And before, like, I was the only person preaching that to my friends. And they're like, whatever, like, okay, like, you're out there. But then I was around people who all believed that. And I felt seen. I was like, oh, so this is real. Like, what I think is real. And it allowed me to believe in the good. And granted, I mean, I don't know how any of this operates. I don't know how any of the world operates. I just know that if I think this way, good things happen. I can see the direct correlation. Is that in my mind? Is that energy? Is that I have no idea. None of us really know. There's theories, but I know when you have that mindset, you can be successful. And so once I came into that space, and then also building the relationship with my family again, it's like I've had support. And before I felt like a wobbly plant with no structure, and then I had one rod and then another, and then I was like, oh, I can finally stand tall. And now I feel like I gained a bunch of community, and then I was able to be more selective with who do I want to be like? Who do I want to have around me? Who has my best interest at heart? Because at first you can have community that is good and positive, but like, do you want to be like them? Do you want to have the same mindset as them? Then that's when you start being more specific. And then those people find you. And then your group kind of gets smaller. And that's good because you don't need a bunch of people just like patting you on the back. And I lost my train of thought. That was it.
No, I mean, well, and it's funny when you said, it's not funny, but when you say pat on the back, right? Because I said this on a podcast, which was, I envisioned people, pat me on the back and all these people. And,
Yeah.
My therapist stopped me and said, no, picture it with nobody patting you on the back. And, part of me is like, well, did I have to go through this, dark night, to find that in myself, right? To find that, like, I got through this. Like, I take a breath myself. Like,
right.
Talk about taking a breath. When you think about it, it forces you to take a breath.
Yeah.
It's like, change doesn't happen without some hardship usually. Most people aren't like, everything's working perfectly, I'm going to go change this up.
Yeah, no.
In fairness, like, why would you? Actually, it's only when you said it. You said in the beginning of the episode, the universe will hit you and tell 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 you until you cannot ignore it anymore, until it's so in front of you. And guess what? Sometimes people will find other ways to push it and push it and push it. Again, can lead to health problems or relationship problems or work whatever it may be, or substance abuse, because you're just ignoring it. And I think, again, what's really important, I think what we're trying to tell the audience is like, when the first or second thing comes up, if you can acknowledge it and have community to talk about it, you don't have to get to the third, fourth, fifth, right? Like, it doesn't have to go that way. It may, and if it does, we're here for you too. And like you said, you can talk about it. You just said it. It's like you went to that darkest of dark places, because there's dark and then there's another level. But now you can sit with people in it and you can relate to it. You can hold space. You can learn more. Things are relative, right? And then
Yeah.
I asked you this question for myself. Self-love is a really interesting thing, right?
Mm.
And it's like it's kind of difficult for me. It has been difficult for me to understand. I'm learning, but like I never hated myself. I never like I wasn't like sad about myself or like I actually think I really liked myself almost too much, right? Like this guy's got to walk to him, like in high school I had to walk to my, and I had this confidence and it's like but it was such external self-love, right? Like I guess it was just
Mm.
predicated on something not internal and from whatever it may be, childhood and different things. Was yours a little bit the same story, and did you build up the internal love from what you went through, or did that just put a magnifying glass on it?
Oh, no, I did not love myself. Because I was treating myself terribly. I was eating terribly, drinking, like, I I wasn't taught how to love myself. And I don't know if that's something that you're taught or, there's different thoughts, on that concept, but I didn't learn to love myself until someone showed me how to love me. Like, I was in a very loving relationship, um, and he basically taught me how to baby myself. Like, he's like, "Why are you walking without a coat? It's cold." I'm like, "Oh, I'll just suffer. It's okay." It's like, "You don't have to." I'm like, "Oh." Simple things. Or like, "Why are you eating that? You know it hurts your stomach." I'm like, "Hmm, yeah, you're right." And it almost like I had to be walked through that process of self-love to where now I know what that looks like. I know how to take care of myself, but it's definitely wasn't an easy process. And I didn't even know that it was a process.
Well, and I think that's the thing you hit on is like we're not necessarily taught that. I mean, some people might be, but for the most part, it's hard to learn that
Yeah.
on your own, right? As you said, someone taught you that. I mean, really nurturing parents may teach you that,
Right.
um, or grandparents,
Mhm.
um, relationships that might be later on, um, and I think that goes back to just being human, right?
Mhm.
And saying, okay, I'm human. Um,
Yes. Acceptance. Self-acceptance is self-love. Accepting all the parts of you, cuz like I do this like art therapy that I just taught myself, but it's linked to internal family systems. And it's listening to all the parts of you because you have many different parts and then identifying them and letting them speak and almost like sitting them at a round table, like the movie Inside Out. Like I thought of this concept before that movie even came out. I'm not saying I came up with the concept, but like it's just real. And so learning to listen to all those parts, even shame, even guilt, and being like, it's okay. Like you can feel this way. Because I think that that is self-love. Like it's not hiding parts of you or that's what the shadow is, right? It's being like, "Oh, I'm only going to accept these good parts of me, but then everything else can just like be swept under there." But it's going to come out. And it's going to be ugly. So you might as well just accept it that you're human in your entirety and then you're able to move forward.
and you said when you were in the health treatment center
Mhm.
that people would come up to you and they could sense that and they felt comfortable talking to you. Do you feel like that's followed you outside those walls?
Yes. That's so at the gallery, again, by myself, 8 hours, people just walk in and sit with me for hours and tell their story. Strangers. Like I don't know. I've always been told I'm easy to talk to and that's just something I don't know why I have that, but I know that that's a gift that I have that I want to give others. But I didn't consciously develop it. I just have it.
And I mean, we could talk about this for a while, but what do you think the biggest, or you're seeing from studying and also just being out there? I don't want to say like the biggest fear, but what we kind of should be on the watch out going forward, because it just keeps getting shown to you over and over again.
Like in our society, the lack of self-acceptance. I think that comes out in so many ways. I don't want to like shame anyone for hiding like surgeries or like I wear makeup and that's not, I actually tangent, but like I stopped wearing makeup purposefully so that I could accept myself. I shaved my head so that I could love myself as I am. And now I just get to like play with this avatar and I see it as like art more than because I'm hiding or because I want to be something. Now it's from a place of like creativity. But like social media, like all of these things make us feel like we have to present ourselves better than what we are instead of just being like, I am human, this is how I am, and that's okay. Because I mean, judgment's very real. So it's scary to be open and vulnerable and show all parts of ourselves. But no one can judge you if you're not okay. I would say that you can't consider someone else's judgment because it's just a reflection of their judgment towards themselves. So the more you accept yourself, the more you can accept others. And so really by accepting yourself and loving yourself, it expands your ability to love others. That's why people say like you can't love yourself you can't love others if you don't love yourself. It's true because you don't accept the full depth of someone else because you don't know that depth within yourself.
Yeah. And I think, that's one of the, I guess, the beautiful challenges you want to take on is that if someone said you are capable as much love to give someone else as you are to yourself, well, in an ideal world, you want to expand that as much as possible. Right. And I think love is an interesting, we can all view love in a certain way, whether it's gift giving or, there's
Right.
words, acts of kindness and, physical touch, but like deep, deep, deep love that transcends, love that holds, love that, is built on crazy foundation, and I've learned that in my journey, is that there's incredible depths of love.
Yeah.
And so when you start working on that, it's really powerful. And I think almost every single one of our guests in the last couple months has talked about love. But I don't think there's anyone that doesn't talk about it.
Because it's the most universal human thing. Like even people who are going through war, people in the Holocaust, like everyone talks about love because it's our most basic human need. It's the fundamental of everything in us. Like that is the baseline.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you open yourself up, it's the most obvious, right? It's like, it's the one word I told Elliot on our first podcast. And I was like, we came up with like 3 words and I was like, I'm going to shock you. And I'm like, for some reason, this word love keeps coming up and I'd never use this word.
Really?
Yeah. And I think when you give yourself the slightest of space that comes in, right? I think that's, for me, and how it was brought up, not just, we didn't talk about that. We didn't talk about love. But that's kind of sometimes the biggest armor. And also because it's hurt you the most in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Like being open to love has created the most scar tissue that you're like, oof.
Right, and then you don't want to be hurt again because it's like, well, I need to protect that love.
Yeah.
But then you're closing yourself off to the possibility of anything else.
Yeah, which is just another form of numbing.
Mm-hmm. It's escaping, running away.
Yeah.
Because it's scary.
Yeah. But I think at the end of the at the end of the day in life, like there's only so many places there's a lot of places in the world, but like there's only so many places you can go, things you can buy, do. At the end of the day, you hear people on their deathbed
Mhm.
who are like, I wish I've had that love,
Yeah.
or I wish I had more time with my kids, or I wish I had more time
Mhm.
with my wife, or I wish husband, whatever it may be. It usually comes back to love. Like a friend of mine said he was with a client, a very wealthy client. They were trying to place money, and the client said, "Look, I know this is a meeting today to place money, but I'd sign it all over today if I just had the love for my family, for my kids." You know? He's like, and he like broke down. He started crying in front of everybody, like in a big business meeting, and it hit him. And he shared that with us, our group, our community, our breakfast group. And it's like, um, I think that's where it's all these, you talked about angels and you talked about other things. It's like there's little things that are in front of your face every day. People saying things, signs, whatever it may
Mhm.
be. But and I just listened to the most incredible podcast that I shared with you right away after I heard it.
Yeah.
Um, that Aaron Lazar did, Impossible Dreams. I want to shout out to him. Um, with Rebecca Rosen, who's a psychic slash medium, right? And she's like, there's people out there taking care of you if you can just see it. And there's opportunity for people to move forward. If you open to it. You said it earlier, miracles.
Mhm.
Ask for help.
Yeah.
Ask for signs. Ask for angels.
And the more you do, the more you throw your hands up and you're like, "Please, just, like, guide me, show me the path." I've been saying that for the past 2 months, and then look at what appeared. Like, that's not coincidence. That's not accidental, and I don't think that that is just happened to me.
No, and
Yeah.
I'll go a little bit deeper on when you say, look what happened is just, a couple, I would say a month ago, maybe even a little bit over a month ago, I just I got an idea that the Alex Perry on Fire podcast needed a place where people could also talk, where it wasn't just me and the guest, a space where people could talk. I didn't know what that looked like or what that sounded like. Um, and I sat with it because sometimes things come to me and I'm like, oh, we gotta set this up tomorrow. We need this. And I was like, no, I'm just gonna sit with this. I'm gonna sit with this. And the longer I sat, more people would come up to me and say, I'm going through this. I'm going through this. Or in our breakfast group, there'd be little conversations amongst other people or wanting to know more, but not having enough time. And I was just thinking, what if we created a space where there was an opportunity for groups to get together, but then also people to meet individually and connect. As simple as community within community. And we, my twin brother included, who's very involved and part of it, and everyone in our group, and that's the beauty of it. It's not individualized. It's the whole idea is community from the start. From there not even being one person. It's um, our producer Patrick's involved. Grace, who works on the show, is involved. Everyone's involved. They're part of it. It's not, it's a community already. But the idea is that, again, the universe is a strange place. I met with you just after having the conversation. I wanted to go on a walk and just learn more about your story and my story. I just want to share it anyways. And I said, hey, I think there's an opportunity for us to work together on something new. I could feel that you had a presence for creating a safe space and talking. And we just left it at that. And I just say like, where you say like, look what's going on is it was timing, right? You were in a place where you could give energy and time and make this a full-time job. And I'm at a place where I have the space to give it time and resources and other people. And there aren't accidents. And a miracle for you, a miracle for me, a miracle for anybody who gains from it on the daily, right? And it's like it's just powerful to think that if you're open to things, and like you said, if you just keep going, you keep going. 2 years ago, if you said I'd have a podcast and we'd be talking about what we're talking about now, and we're talking spirit, but it's religion too. It's a form of prayer. It's a form of whatever you believe in. I would have said 0.0 chance. And then if you said you were going to do an offshoot of that and create community, I'd be like, no. And I think it's just being open to one little change and
Mhm.
little things. And I would say from Elliot's experience, 2 years ago to where he's at today, it's little dots. And where you were 4 years ago or 10 years ago, it's little dots. And bringing it back to myself, um, you know, it's weird. I kind of envy a little bit of how long both y'all are in your journey. Uh, Not that I'm, behind or anything, but it takes time. And so it's like, you learn the patience of it, and you respect people who have gone and kept moving forward and through it. And I don't want to say it as a daunting thing for the audience listening to be like, oh, this might be a couple years. It's like, I think the first honest question you ask yourself is, are you truly happy with the life you're living? Right? Like, that's just the truth, right? Like, that's the truth. And if you are, keep living it. Keep living it. Right? Like, there's no reason. It's just when the knock on the door starts getting louder and louder,
Don't
yeah, just answer it, right? And I think for me, it's like, I look back, I wasn't unhappy, so I don't want to sit here, but like the things that I was doing were no longer enjoyable. That's the honesty I have to have with y'all, is like, the vacations were no longer enjoyable. The selling of the homes were no longer enjoyable. The accolades that came with it, the material things, the going to the Super Bowl, the things, it's like, it was just masked, and I knew it. I felt it. I was just masking it. But that doesn't have to change. I remember a post by Andre Agassi, who is a very famous tennis player, number one in the world. His parents pushed him to be this incredible tennis player. And he got to number one in the world, and he went to a dark place. I mean, his world collapsed. Collapsed. And he said, I got to number one in the world for all the wrong reasons. Make my parents happy, status, everyone telling me to do it, blah, blah. And he said when he got there, he felt more empty than anything in the world. A complete empty. And so he blew it up, and he's like, I'm done. I mean, not done. He stopped playing tennis, and he built himself back up, and he started satellite tournaments, like 400 in the world, if not that, like worse than that. Right. And he built himself up back to number one in the world.
Wow.
And he said when he got back to number one in the world, he's like, it was for me. Right. And I remembered that. And I told Elliot this yesterday. It's like, you can still want to sell real estate or be in a business or whatever it may be, and also like the accolades. Like, he didn't want to play in a stadium with no one. He didn't not want to make money or win a trophy. It was just, what was the reason behind it, right? The other stuff's great too, right? You want to be noticed for doing good things and all that stuff. And I just resonate hard with that. It's like, you can kind of start over, but then get back to where you want and then get the joy of it again. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like, I still want to sell real estate. I want to do the podcast. I want to do more, but then it's just talking to me.
And intentionally.
Yeah. And so I'm a student in life too with it. And in that middle phase, as we talked about, is the tough phase. That's the integration phase. And I think that's what the community we're working on too is. It's like, we want to be there for you. Ashlyn and I, Elliot, everyone else in the community, in that middle phase, because there becomes this deconstruct phase that's needed to start over. And the idea is that we will be there with you in the starting over, and we'll be with you in the middle ground. And we'll also be there with you when you recognize that there needs to be a change. And I think that something consistent in all our journeys is like, we wanted that. I had it. I'm not so sure Elliot and you had it. And with that comes a greater fall. But I give you guys all the credit in the world because you climbed out of that space too.
Well, and I think the main thing is being like, oh, I want better for myself. That's it. Like, I want better for myself.
And what I tell myself right now is not better for myself. I'm not there, which is interesting because I think you're in a different place. Mine is, I'm the only one who's going to get myself out of this.
Yeah.
That's what I keep telling myself. Like, I'm the only one. The lower I go, no one else sits with me that. No one sits with me in that space. So I want to climb because the more I climb is more for me.
Yeah.
And so that's what I keep telling myself. So it's just interesting, right? But I fully believe that you're never finished, but when you get to a place, you're going to say like, that's where you hold it. And you're like, I want that for myself. And then that creates the holding of it. The anchor, you said it. And that's the anchor.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it being something that can get blown away.
Mm-hmm.
And the roots are there. And the people are there.
Yeah.
And Alex Perry on Fire is there. And C2 Humans. Really special. Thank you. I know we're going to have you on a bunch more. And we're going to have some solo episodes with you, which I'm excited about. And I think we'll have you with some guests. So I think this is kind of welcome Ashlyn Colette to the Welcome Ashlyn Colette to the Alex Perry on Fire podcast, but much, much more to come. And I say this with love. Thank you. And this is special.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Alex Perry on Fire. It means so much to me and the wonderful team that makes this all possible. I'm now passing the flame to you. Please follow, like, and subscribe so you can always stay up to date. Thanks again, and stay fired up.